Hello everyone and welcome to my new channel, Vera's Digital Fireworks. This video is meant to summarize and analyze a short story called An Outpost of Progress for Abitua students. But even if you're just interested in the story, you are more than welcome to watch this video. This short story is written by Joseph Conrad, who was born in Ukraine 1857 to Polish parents. In 1874, after his parents died, Joseph Conrad joined the French Navy, then the British Merchant Navy in 1882. And as a result, he became a British citizen in 1886. 3 years after, he traveled to Congo to fulfill an ambition he had since his childhood. But after a while, he returned to Europe with an emotional trauma caused by the atrocities he witnessed there. These experiences served as an inspiration to write Heart of Darkness and An Outpost of Progress. The story is about two English white men, Kayerts and Carlier, who took over a trading station in Central Africa. Their job is simple. They have to supervise the collection of ivory in the station. Although the Europeans do trade goods, their underlying purpose is to export civilization from Europe to Africa. Carlier and Kayerts are living in colonial times. England and other European countries have control over Africa. The native people are seen as in need of being civilized. As the steamer that drops them off disappears, Carlier and Kayerts already begin to feel uneasy. Out in the jungle with no other Europeans to support their views about the world, they sense that they are out of their element and not up to the task they have been assigned. The first thing they see is a cross under which their predecessor lies buried, having died of a fever. Then they meet Makola, a native man who's married and has 3 kids. Makola is their native comrade. He's acting as the foreman for 10 other natives who should be looking for ivory. Makola ended up doing all the work they're supposed to do because they simply have no idea how to do it. For this reason, they just stayed in their house doing nothing but reading old books. One day, a group of natives come by and state that they have more ivory than they can carry, which is of great interest to Carlier and Kayerts, who have to make any good trades. Consequently, Makola offers to take care of the ivory trade, and the men agree. In the morning, they discover all of the native employees have disappeared. Makola tells them he traded the men for ivory. Therefore, they got angry and upset that their morals have been directly challenged. So they decided they should have nothing to do with the ivory because it is a result of slavery. However, after their initial protest, they changed their mind because they know the ivory will make their director happy. And from that moment on, the men started feeling that they've changed during the time they spent in Africa, and not for the better. They are descending into confusion and fear, which then came to the surface after an argument over sugar. Carlier gives way to his emotions, calling Kayerts a slave dealer. Kayerts is unable to accept the truth and responds violently. The two men begin chasing each other around their house. Finally, Kayerts shoots Carlier dead because he felt threatened by the gun in Carlier's hand. But then he realized that Carlier was unarmed. The book ends with the managing director of the steamship coming through the fog only to see that Kayerts is hanging dead on a cross. Now that we know all relevant information about the story and its author, it's time to begin analyzing An Outpost of Progress. Having returned to Europe with an emotional trauma caused by the atrocities he witnessed in Congo, one can assume that Joseph Conrad is totally against colonialism, which will be reflected on his story. Let's see how Joseph Conrad criticizes colonialism, although the title says otherwise. Colonialism, as we all know, is supposed to be bringing light to the dark, uncivilized places on Earth. European colonists saw it as their duty to conquer and rule countries containing different cultures and races. They didn't know what cultural diversity is. People were placed on a scale of value, from highest to lowest. The people of Africa were seen as the lowest kind of people. At some point, there was even a debate about whether they were fully human. European colonists believed they were at the high end of human development. They thought it was their right to expand European beliefs, values, and social constructs all over the world. Joseph Conrad criticizes colonialism by choosing two incompetent and lazy fellows who come to Congo for material reasons only, to be the ones responsible of bringing light to Africa. But that won't work because of the mentality Kayets and Carlier are coming with, which is that they're civilized while the others are savage. They're so bound by their own European culture, they are unable to appreciate the land and the culture that surrounds them. They are incapable of perceiving that non-European cultures have value and structure of their own. Once the routine and structure of their own country is taken away, the men have only themselves to rely on. Their own fears, insecurities, failings, and weaknesses come to the surface, which is exactly what Joseph Conrad is trying to explain. People are people, no matter what the color of their skin or the structure of their culture. He achieved at presenting the darker side of humanity. In this story, nearly everyone cannot be trusted. Makola, the band of strangers, Carlier, and Kayets, all are judging one another as inferior. The story reveals the ugly underside of humanity, both native and European. Carlier, Makola, and Kayets all choose commerce over their fellow human beings. Makola sacrifices native people in order to provide ivory to the traders at the station. Carlier and Kayets are initially disgusted with the idea but then accept the benefit, which is making their director happy. After letting go of their own morals, Kayets and Carlier start losing their mind. They fight over sugar and end up with Kayets killing Carlier because of becoming paranoid. To sum up, by presenting this side of humans, we now have evidence that all men are equal from the dark side of the equation. In An Outpost of Progress, Joseph Conrad didn't try to point out the beauty in all people, no matter what their color or culture. Instead, he showed us that all people are capable of evil, like murder, slavery, and suicide. And that we shouldn't be judging one another based on the culture, skin color, or religion. Now that we've come to the end, I want to know how you'd analyze Makola's behavior as he traded his men for ivory. If you found this video helpful, you're very welcome to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.